gamers, it's your boy MtG here, back with another Magic video, and I know what you're thinking. It has been quite some time for me to post on this channel, but it was the holidays, you know, and I did need a break for Magic for a little bit, but my break extended a little bit longer than I had expected, and that is fine because here we are once more playing the game I love, doing some schwiggly stuff, and today I got the idea in my head to try to do a mono black devotion deck that doesn't have any rares in it. And why did I do that? I don't really know. I mean, partially because I'm a little bit low on wild cards right now, and I didn't have access to all of the rares that I wanted to make this deck really good. But what I did kind of think about though is that there's a lot of the important pieces to this deck are actually uncommons. And we can play a pretty good version of this deck without using any rares because, I mean, obviously we're playing Grey Merchant of Asphodel. That is like the card in this deck. Like, that's what we need. It's our win con, essentially. This is our primary winning condition, is to play Grey Merchant of Asphodel, and when it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So we want to get our black devotion really, really high. So whenever we play Grey Merchant of Asphodel, it's going to be huge, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It's going to be big. So early on, we're playing things that kind of enable really powerful Grey Merchant plays. Like we're playing Tymaret, who is a new legendary enchantment creature, and Tymaret's toughness is equal to your devotion to black. And then he has an ability where you can exile up to 2 cards from graveyards, and you gain 1 life for each creature card exiled this way. But notice the mana cost on these, right? So it's a black and a black, which means this equals 2 devotion to black. So that's going to pump 2 more damage into Grey Merchant. Of course, Grey Merchant deals 2 damage just on its own. If there's nothing else on the board, Grey Merchant deals 2 damage because the casting cost is 3 and then a black and a black. But also here in the 2 slot, we've got Yarok's Fenlurker, which when it enters the battlefield, each opponent has to exile a card from their hand, which is pretty nice. But also it pumps up our Grey Merchant because it costs a black and a black. And then in the 3 slot, here's a new card that I didn't really discover until I was looking at like how to build this deck, and I was like, wait a second, there's this enchantment here that costs 3 black mana and actually punishes our opponent for just simply playing the game, right? So we spend 3 black mana and play this enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to that player, which is not incredibly punishing. It can be quite punishing to control decks, things that want to draw a lot of cards to get card advantage over us. So we punish our opponents for that. But the main reason we want to play this is because it gives us 3 extra devotion to black to pump up our Tymaret or our Grey Merchant of Asphodel, or I guess our Drag to the Underworld, which we'll talk about right now. Drag to the Underworld is our primary removal in this deck. In fact, it's really our only removal. And I will say that has been an issue in the deck, is that I don't have Planeswalker removal in here. And the reason I don't is because most Planeswalker removal is rare or mythic rare or whatever, or it's just like specific, like it's Noxious Grasp or something like that. And I figured instead of trying to deal with Planeswalkers, let's just kill our opponent before they become too much of a problem. And we can do that, and we definitely can do that in this deck. But Drag to the Underworld is 2 mana and a black, and this spell costs X less to cast, where X is your devotion to black. Destroy target creature. So it is instant speed, destroy target creature, unconditional, and generally we're going to be casting this for 2. Like, there's almost no scenarios where we're not going to be able to cast this for 2. Like, obviously, if we get completely board wiped, that's one thing. But if that happens, we're probably going to be in trouble in a lot of other ways as well. So back to the other things we're playing. We're playing Cauldron Familiar in the 1 slot because this also helps us when it enters the battlefield. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That's great. But it's just a 1-cost creature. You really don't have to play this. I'm playing this because I would rather play Knight of the Ebon Legion, but because that is a rare, we're not able to play it in this no rare deck that I'm building. So we're playing Cauldron Familiar instead, and then we're playing Foulmire Knight, which has actually been very, very excellent for us so far. Every time I've played with it, I'm generally saving it and not playing it on turn 1, even if I have it. I'm generally using it to draw us a card and then play it to be another blocker and or the 1 extra damage for Grey Merchant of Asphodel. But the main reason I like this is because it helps us draw cards, which is an issue for this deck. We don't have a lot of ways to gain card advantage. Speaking of card advantage, one of the ways we're going to be doing that is trying to recur our creatures. Forever Young is really, really good at that. It's 2 mana. Then you put any number of target creature cards from your graveyard on top of your library. So if our opponents are removing our creatures from the board, we're going to be putting them back on top of our library and then able to draw cards and just refill our hand. So this keeps the gas going is essentially what it does. It keeps the gas, or it keeps our foot on the gas pedal. We're also playing Deathless Knight, which is something, so there's this whole Knights where all these creatures that have the weird casting costs. So I was thinking at first maybe Resolute Rider because it's 4 white or black. But so don't be deceived by that. It's a 4 white or black, but that goes to devotion too. So this is 4 devotion to black. And I was thinking maybe Resolute Rider at first because we can give it indestructible and give it lifelink if we need to, etc., etc. And I was thinking maybe, there's the, where's the other one? What is it? Where are you? Come on. Let's get there. There it is. Elite Headhunter, the other night. It's black and red. And I was considering playing this as well, but I was like, this is just not that good. But Deathless Knight really, really helps us. A, because it's a hasty creature. We can sneak in an extra 4 damage, which is actually pretty nice if our opponents are not ready to block this. But the main reason I want to play it, besides just having the 4 black mana casting cost, which is really, really good, is because we can get it back into our hand. We have a few ways to gain life in this deck, and this is going to be very important to be able to bring this back if it ever dies. If we use it as a blocker, and then we play Grey Merchant, we gain life off of Grey Merchant. We gain life off of Tymaret. Occasionally, we gain life off of Cauldron Familiar. So we do have ways to gain life, and we should be able to bring this back into our hand if it's ever put in our graveyard, whether our opponent's milling us or we just use it and it dies, etc. So this is going to be very, very helpful for us, especially curving right into Grey Merchant. This is a 4-drop that gives us 4 extra black devotion to bump up Grey Merchant, which is really, really wonderful. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much the entire deck. I've kind of gone through the whole thing. It's really simple. It's really simple, which is why I like it. We're playing 22 Swamps and 2 Witch's Cottage. Another way to put creatures back on top of our library from the graveyard. I guess you could play 4 Witch's Cottage, but I've run into a couple of scenarios where we really want to be playing Underworld Dreams on turn 3, and we don't have the 3rd Swamp, but we do have a Witch's Cottage, and it just kind of throws us off because we can't, it doesn't come in untapped if we don't have 3 Swamps, and so the more Witch's Cottages you put in the deck, the more likely you are to get burned by that. So just be careful with doing that, but of course, just testing would help figure that out. And I haven't tested this deck a ton, I played it a little bit, so yeah, before I jump to the gameplay, if you want to, you can skip ahead. I always put the time code of the of where the gameplay starts in the comments section, so if you want to jump ahead, go to that. But I'm going to talk about the rare and mythic rare stuff that I would have been playing if I had done if we were not playing this no rare. So obviously I already said Knight of the Ebon Legion. It's a really, really solid 1-drop, keeps us moving throughout the game. It's a mana sink if we ever don't have anything we want to play, so that's great. And then also we had Ayara. This is pretty much a must-have if you're playing this. Like if you want to be competitive with Grey Merchant, you really need to play Ayara because it's 3 devotion for 3 mana, and we would essentially switch that for Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Bloodthirsty Aerialist is not terrible, but it's really not that great, and Ayara is just way, way, way better, and it continues to ping our opponent, gains us life, deals damage, and we can sack things to draw cards, which is really helpful. So Ayara is just super, super much better than Bloodthirsty Aerialist. And then other things we would play, instead of probably Drag to the Underworld, I'd be playing Murderous Rider. Murderous Rider, A, because it can target creatures or planeswalkers, and B, because we also get to play it as a creature, which is really helpful. Super helpful because it's basically 2 spells in 1 card, and it gives us, when we play it as a creature, it gives us extra devotion to pump up our Grey Merchant, which is really nice. It's super nice. So there's other things you can play here. You can play either Rankle Master of Pranks in the 4 slot as well, or Spawn of Mayhem. I really don't think you need those, but you can definitely play them there. I think Cavalier of Night is a really solid choice in a mono black devotion, especially if you're going to be ending up in those grindier games. Of course, I generally think in this we want to be curving out and like making sure we get this on turn 5, but occasionally we're going to want removal later on in the game. And Cavalier of Night also has 3 black in its mana cost, so it's not bad. It's not bad in devotion, but It's not super ideal. I would probably try to avoid playing that. But, you know, also Bolas's Citadel is really solid. Bolas's Citadel is particularly solid because we have so many ways to gain life. So once we play this, a lot of the cards that we're going to be coming off the top of our deck are actually going to gain us life. And so we can just continue to pump damage into our opponent while gaining enough life to stay alive and killing our opponent that way. So that's pretty nice. And then there was, I thought there was another thing, but maybe that was the last one that I wanted to look at. I think that was it. Oh, of course, I haven't shown you Theros because I don't have this card yet, but it is Erebos Bleakhearted. This is not ideal for Mono Black Devotion because this, in general, in Mono Black Devotion, we want to have Grey Merchant as our payoff, but Erebos Bleakhearted is a solid, like, alternate payoff, but it doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of pushing your devotion higher and higher. It is fine, of course. Whenever another creature you control dies, you may pay 2 life. If you do draw a card, it's good for that. And it's just a 5/6 creature for 4 if you get it to become a creature by getting your devotion to 5 or higher. So Erebos is decent. And then, of course, you have Eat to Extinction, which is a pretty solid removal piece. But I think, in general, Murderous Rider is just going to be better. I don't really think there's anything else. Oh, wait, actually, Nightmare Shepherd is pretty solid. So, in general, I think if you were going to play Erebos, I would say try to play Nightmare Shepherd instead. Just because it will be making tokens of our creatures whenever they die. So we can sack things with Ayara, and then whatever we sacked, we'll create a token of that instead. And the token, I believe, still has the mana cost attached to it, so it should be contributing to devotion. I haven't actually played with that combo, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So, just an interesting thing you can do there. And now that I've gone through all of that, we're going to go into, cancel, stop. We're just going to go play the deck now that I've rambled for a while. I hope if you didn't enjoy my rambling, you just skipped on to the gameplay. So, here we go. Let's jump in and see if we can actually land some dubs, maybe. Man, I just spent like 12 minutes talking about this deck. It's not that complicated of a deck. I shouldn't have spent 12 minutes talking about it. But hey, sometimes we do that. This is pretty bad hand. We don't want to start with 4 lands and no play until turn 4. That's pretty terrible. So we're gonna, dang. Okay, this is also not great, but we're gonna keep it. I'm gonna put an Aerialist on the bottom. I mean, when we get to turn 5, we're going to have a big play with Grey Merchant if we can keep these on the board. But really, we want to have more early plays like Tymaret or Cauldron Familiar. And okay, cool. 2 Grey Merchants in our hand. That's something. This is a hand. Hopefully our creatures stay alive long enough to let us play that. Okay, well that's interesting. I'm going to attack, see if they might kill Bloodthirsty Aerialist when I attack. But Underworld Dreams is actually a pretty good play here. Of course, I would much rather have drawn a card. But, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Then we go Underworld Dreams, and we are sad because we don't have lands to play Deathless Knight. Are you kidding me? Dang it. Why are you playing Return to Nature on your main board, you psychopath? Oh my gosh. That's so weird. Oh wait, was that Nightmare Shepherd? Oh, that's scary. That's scary. Okay. Strange, frightening, Golgari stuff. Well, okay, we go Yarok's Fenlurker, and we still don't have a land. Yeah! Baby. Okay, they exiled what? Find Finality? Okay. Store of Devkren Lich. I think we don't block. We take the damage for now. Are you kidding me? Man, we are not drawing gas right now. This is brutal. We just need lands. We're playing 24 lands. It's not like we're playing 22, which I actually had 23 in this at one point, but I was like, oh, we want to make sure we can get to Grey Merchant. And maybe that's why they're playing Return to Nature, because destroy target enchantment actually destroys some important creatures in the deck right now, or in Standard right now. So we're going to go ahead and block that. We can't take that much damage, and they put Nightmare Shepherd probably to their graveyard, or yeah, in their hand. So I think we lose now. This is going terribly. And look, 3 lands in a row, baby. That was sick. That was so nice. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and concede. This is really horrible right now. Yeah, we're going to concede so we can move on. That was a really, really bad start. So we had to mulligan, first of all. And then after we mulliganed, we still didn't have a play till turn 3. Even though I kept a 3-land hand, and then we didn't draw a land that entire time. That was like 5-6 turns of not drawing any lands, which is just a big bummer. It's a big bummer. But hopefully, second game will be a little better. All right, against Tila Loco. Okay, 2-lander, but we do have 2 Yarok's Fenlurkers and removal at 2 mana once we have one of these on board. I think I'm going to keep that and hope we draw into lands, which we probably won't since I kept a 2-land hand. We're probably going to get punished for that. Yeah, it's kind of looking that way. Kind of looking that way. So here's how Magic the Gathering works, okay? If you ever keep a land with, or a hand with 4 lands in it, you're going to be punished for it because you're going to immediately draw a land. If you keep a 2-land hand, you're going to be punished for it because you're not going to draw a land that you can use for at least 2 turns. So that's great. It's going to be great. I mean, I guess the good news is that we, even if we don't have another swamp in hand, if we don't draw another swamp next turn to play Underworld Dreams, we can still play Yarok's Fenlurker and just put in the Witch's Cottage. Of course, if they play something we don't like, we might have to just kill it. We may have to just kill it. Okay. Yeah, well, there we go. Let's attack first. See if they do anything here. I don't think they're gonna do anything. I think they just take 1 damage. And then we play another Yarok's Fenlurker, which could potentially get countered, actually. Yeah, that's countered. Okay, they're playing Timur counter spells, Timur Flash, whatever. So this could be problematic, actually, because we've had another bad start. Clothis, God of Destiny. Okay, beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target card from graveyard as a land card, otherwise you gain 2 life. Okay, we want to start doing that. So, because I feel like they're going to be wanting to draw cards, and we want to punish them for that. So, they have to exile a card. I don't know why they decided to do that. They just took a ton of damage. Okay, they exile Yarok's Fenlurker, which actually is kind of a bummer. They gain some life from that. Okay. Really now? I mean, we should go Underworld Dreams again. And if they play Chemist's Insight, they're taking a buttload of damage, which they already are kind of taking a lot of damage. The problem is that they can potentially outpace, or like at least keep pace with this damage because Clothis is going to give them life every turn, but they just took 6 damage, so they go to 8. If I was able to play Grey Merchant right now, I would kill them, because I have so much Devotion to Black right now. I have 8 Devotion to Black, so that'd be a lot. What if they just exile Bone Crusher Giant? That's strange. Okay, that's solid. We'll go Cauldron Familiar. Oh, I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? I needed to play Bloodthirsty Aerialist first to put a counter on it. That was really, really dumb. It just wasn't using the old noggin. Here's the deal. If they do Chemister's Insight again, if they play Chemister's Insight right now, they die. Which is hilarious. I have nothing in my graveyard. So they have to exile their own stuff. Okay, they exiled Chemister's Insight because they're obviously not going to play it. Yes. Thank you for that. That was great. I mean, here's the deal, though. Okay? If we draw a Swamp or a Witch's Cottage, either way, if we draw a Swamp or a Witch's Cottage, not a Swamp or a Witch's Cottage, but it's actually a decent play. We could have played Grey Merchant and killed them if we had another land. I'm a little bit worried this is about to get killed. Yeah, or Brazen Borrower, fine. Essentially the same thing. We're just waiting. I'm just waiting until we can get... until we draw a land that we can kill them with. And the problem is that the last turn they didn't have... they didn't have mana up for a counterspell, which is when I needed to play Grey Merchant. Because I think from now on they're probably going to be holding up mana. And none of this just doesn't help me. It just doesn't help me. Okay, so we go Deathless Knight again. Probably gets countered. No. Maybe bounced again. You bounce it again. Brazen Borrower one more time, baby. One more time. Okay. Yep. Alright, alright, alright. We're getting, we're in trouble here, I think. We're about to take a bunch of damage. So we take 2 from that, and then 3 from that. And if we don't sneak in a Grey Merchant next turn, we lose. So, that's, well, yeah, we do lose because they'll play Brazen Borrower. I think we end up losing this just because we haven't drawn our 5th land yet. Man, there was one turn where if we'd drawn the 5th land, we would have been in great shape. But we'll go Cauldron Familiar, see what they do about it. No counterspell, which is good. I will pass, and I'm holding up Drag to the Underworld to kill Brazen Borrower, if that's what's going down. So Clothis seems kind of good. Seems kind of good. Okay. Flash that in. We'll go ahead and kill now. Because if they have a counter, well, if they have a counterspell, we die, right? Okay, they don't, which means we have 1 turn left. We have 1 turn left to do this. Okay. It's a close one. It's really close. Yeah, baby. Okay. Explosion. And we're dead. Wait. Oh, they go to 1! They go to 1 from Underworld Dreams! That is so brutal, dude. That is brutal. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. The thing is, pretty much every spell they cast that game was a rare or mythic rare. Like, not every spell, but like Clothis mythic rare, a Brazen Borrower is mythic rare as well. The spell they killed me with, what is it? Burn explosion, expansion explosion, is rare. So like, we're losing to decks that are playing, you know, obviously more valuable cards than us. So I mean, I kind of expect to lose to those decks, but we were close. We had them on the ropes that whole game, and we just couldn't draw our 5th land. Okay, yes, oh yes, this is how our curve is supposed to look. We have turn 1, turn 2, probably turn 3 removal, and then probably turn 4 play. This is great. It's great. Obviously, I say that, and we may get blown out in some way, but, you know, here we go. Alrighty. Cauldron Familiar. Now we actually have a turn 3 creature play. if we don't need to use drag to the Underworld. Okay. Yeah, we'll just play Yarok's Fenlurker. See what they exile here. Also, we now have our 4th land for Deathless Knight, which is good. That's good, that's good, that's good. What was that? Plains. Okay. I'm not going to attack because there's not really a need to. And it will just get blocked by Gilded Goose. Oh, they play Bant. Okay, this could be Bant enchantments, maybe. Wicked Wolf. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, well, we can kill it. Yeah, we can kill it. So we'll go Cauldron Familiar, because that drops the casting costs down, and then we just go ahead and kill that. So we can get in an extra damage here. And then turn 4, yeah, we probably just play Deathless Knight turn 4. I mean, I guess it depends on what they play. But I'm hoping the board is open so that I can just attack. Okay. Cauldron Familiar. Okay, they've got 2 mana up. I'm assuming just to trigger Gilded Goose. I can't really attack with Cauldron Familiars because they block with Overwhelmed Apprentice, so we will attack with Deathless Knight for now. So the problem now is that not only do we need to draw another land, we also don't have Grey Merchant in our hand. But we do have ways, like we have gas on the board though. Deathless Knight is pretty solid, and then Bloodthirsty Aerialist will be solid as well. Huh. Neoforming into what? Ooh, I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. They're probably playing that. Oh, that's a bummer. Too bad we didn't have Underworld, whatever. They're probably playing that enchantment where you sacrifice another enchantment and then you put a thing in the. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. So we'll go Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Honestly, I think I attack with Deathless Knight. I have a lot of ways to get it back, and so I'm going to go ahead and force them to block with Fibblethip so they can't just Neoform with him. And then I'll play Forever Young, and I'm not going to get Deathless Knight back. I'm just going to put Yarok's Fenlurker on top, and then I will draw it. And so that even if I don't have a Grey Merchant play next turn, I at least have Yarok's Fenlurker, which is solid. But obviously not ideal. We got to have Grey Merchant to kind of close this thing out. We've got a decent setup right now. I mean, we've got 4... Okay. Yeah, Spant Neoform, which is just a lot of value, and we haven't been able to close, like, we haven't gone fast enough yet. We'll be fine. We're going to be fine. Okay, double Yarok's Fenlurker is not bad. Forces them to exile 2 cards from their hand, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Another Plains, and then we'll go doop de doop 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 boop boop doop doop boop doop boop. That's right, son. Son. Tristani. Interesting choice. Okay, no attacks. Fingers crossed we're drawing Grey Merchant. Honestly, though, drawing a Cauldron Familiar would not be the end of the world either. Just some way to gain a little bit of life to bring back Deathless Knight. Okay, so we can go Witch's Cottage. Put Cauldron Familiar on top. Which just essentially means gas for next turn. And we can attack because I can trigger Yarok's Fenlurker twice if they decide to block. And the reason I'm attacking with Bloodthirsty Aerialist is because I was like, okay, they'll probably want to block Yarok's Fenlurker with Elite Guard Mage to force me to buff it up and spend the mana, whatever. And that I may be able to sneak in 2 damage with Bloodthirsty Aerialist. But if not, that's fine because it can't die. So we'll go ahead and use its ability to get a little extra damage in. And that's that. We deal 4 damage. So next turn is a pretty solid turn. Still don't have Grey Merchant, which is a bummer. But we do have Cauldron Familiar, which brings back Deathless Knight. Oh, looks like they're killing Bloodthirsty Aerialist. So not as solid of a turn as I had hoped it would be. But it will work, I guess. You'll have to. Okay. Good news. That's good news. Cauldron Familiar puts Deathless Knight to our hand. We can attack with it. They'll probably block with Wicked Wolf, but that's pretty okay. Like, I think... Oh, wait a second. That was so stupid. Oops. Yeah, I forgot about that thing about Wicked Wolf, is that they can sacrifice food to gain indestructible. But they also messed up. They passed to blockers before triggering that, so they couldn't actually block it. LOL, man. I mean, if we draw Grey Merchant, it's game over. Like, I don't think they're playing counterspells in this deck. That'd be pretty stupid to do. They don't have a way to gain enough life to get over how much Devotion to Black I have right now. And they can't deal enough damage right now to kill me. So, I mean, we should be fine. We should be fine. Okay, so they're dealing with 2 damage with Elite Guard Mage. Well, that feels really good. Feels really good. I'll pass turn and do nothing, hoping that we draw into something solid. Even Foulmire Knight is good because it draws us cards. Like, any way to get through, see more cards in our deck is great right now. Because that's all we need to do is draw into Grey Merchant of Asphodel. Doodly doodly doo doo. Hey. Boodly doodly doo doo. That's horrible. That's really horrible. Okay, they steal that. I'm trying to think about this. Okay. If we drew Grey Merchant next turn, how much damage would we have if we didn't have... So I can take the 6 this turn. No blocks. I could block with the Yarok's Fenlurker and kill my Deathless Knight and potentially get it back next turn, which is maybe what I should have done, but I'd really rather keep my Yarok's Fenlurkers on the board just in case we draw Gary, which we don't because we can only draw lands. Yes, yes, yes. I love that none of this is working out at all. Woo! Okay, let's think about this. If they have 7 health, we've got 3, 5 plus 2 from Gary is 7. I'm actually gonna do it this time because we can't take that much damage. We're like so close to being dead, so we'll buff you. Just for good measure, we'll buff it again. We get a 7. Deathless Knight goes to our graveyard. So if we draw a Cauldron Familiar or a Tymaret, we can probably bring it back. Okay, so the bummer now is that they've gained 3 life. They go back to 10, which means if I top deck Gary right now, I can't win anymore. And that's probably what's going to happen because the game really, really doesn't like me right now. Like, in these last couple games, the game has not liked me. I don't think. Maybe it's trying to teach me a lesson. It might be trying to teach me a lesson. What it is? Don't know. Don't know what it is. This is about to get ugly. Yeah, I mean, I'm dead, right? So if I kill Lumbering Battlement, they get all 4 of those back onto the field, triggering their end of the battlefield effects, which effectively will kill me, so that's a good game. Didn't draw what I needed for too long. So, we will try to, we'll try to get a win again, one more time. Like, so the practice games actually went very well. It's a little surprised by how poorly this deck is performing right now. This might just be a long video, and maybe we get to showcase some wins here. Okay, this is keepable. I'm gonna keep it. Let's see what we draw. Okay, I'm not gonna play Foulmire Knight yet because I'm gonna probably need to use it to draw a card. Messian Wanderer. Okay, so we go Yarok's Fenlurker. Whenever an enchantment is about a phone you control, look at the top of your card library. You may reveal a land card from under the hand. Interesting. So this is probably Selesnya enchantments, which is actually a fairly decent archetype right now. Okay. It's kind of chill. Oh wait, no, that's not chill. They kill my Yarok's Fenlurker, that's terrible. That's horrible. Horrible. Okay, I'm only take 1 damage though. We will go ahead and... do we just deal a damage to draw a card? Or do we play Underworld Dreams? I think we play Underworld Dreams, try to just stack up some devotion here. So we get Deathless Knight next turn, which is going to be solid, of course. And now we can actually cast Drag to the Underworld if we need to. Like, Messian Wanderer is good. It kind of enables a lot of stuff in their deck, but that's probably who we want to be killing with Drag to the Underworld. Is Siona, Captain of the Pyleus. The Peleus. Time to die. Okay, I'm gonna pass and hope that they target Messian Wanderer with this, and before it ever hits the battlefield, I will drop Messian Wanderer. Starfield Mystic. I will let that resolve. So they'll still probably try to play Hydra's Growth. Yep. And then we drag to the Underworld the Messian Wanderer, and You get punished, opponent, for playing... Oh, crap. Okay, well, we'll play Deathless Knight. Try to punish them right back. Attack if they block. Okay, they don't block, which is fine, and they take some more damage. Woo-hoo. Okay, Paradise Druid, yeah. So they're going to probably try to stack a bunch of crap onto Paradise Druid. Yeah, that makes sense. Just growth. They're going to want to give it vigilance in some way. You can put Fenlurker on top. Okay, we've got 3, 7. This will be 9. Huh. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, here's the deal. If I'm going to attack, if they don't block, I win. We go to damage. Yes. Yes, baby. That should be it, right? Boom. 9 damage. Closed it out. We finally got it. Yes. We got it. Okay. I'm going to try to play one more. Maybe we can get consecutive wins with the deck. I mean, it hasn't been performing great so far, but let's try it out. Let's try this. We were up against a fairly like evenly matched deck in terms of power level. Like they were playing a lot of uncommons and stuff, so that helps. That of course helps. Okay, this is fine. We keep this. This is good. Underworld Dreams on turn 3 is not a bad starting hand. All side of life's bounty. Honestly, okay, so they're probably doing. They could be doing the kind of the same archetype as we just faced. Ooh, abs and enchantments, huh? Okay. Shoot. I'm gonna say no attacks for now. So I want to hold Cauldron Familiar as a potential blocker for this, but they're probably gonna put something. Yeah, okay. There's the thing, but it's fine. So we don't block right here, but we can kill it on our turn, which is nice. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cast this, get that off the battlefield, because that's just pretty troublesome. It's pretty troublesome. And then we'll get into damage. So, I mean, they shocked in enough lands that we're actually winning in terms of life points right now. So, Sentinel's Eyes can escape. This might be problematic. Okay. Okay. We'll go Underworld Dreams. That will stack a ton of damage into our Grey Merchant, and they concede. Okay, very well. Very well, opponent. We got another win. We didn't get to play much of the deck that time, but, you know, I think that's enough for one video. You've kind of seen how it goes. It's not amazing because we're not playing any rares, but I think if you slot in some of those really nasty rares, this deck can actually be pretty good. And speaking of that, I'm probably going to be playing that version of the deck, the improved version of the deck, in a subsequent video. So do check in on the channel again later if you're not subscribed. Feel free to do so, and I encourage you to do so if you want to see more of my content and, yeah, videos about Magic the Gathering and Theros Beyond Death, etc., etc. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I sure did for the, at least the last part of it I did. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one, and leave some comments below to suggest future decks for me. That'd be cool too. All right, peace.